Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Morven.
Thanks to us both for agreeing to commit some time to be together. I'm really grateful. As I've already just said to you before we pressed record, it was my partner that said, this lady, this woman, this beautiful human being is speaking out and she feels like you. And that's how I knew of your existence, Cindy, which is fucking fantastic. And I asked you just before we pressed record, is it okay if I read out 4 things I want to say as our sort of way of beginning our conversation? And you were fine with that, and you're still fine with that?
I'm still
Brilliant.
very fun.
Thanks, Cindy. So here we go. Number 1, I am certain that great swathes of us knew via our felt sense from early childhood how very disturbing and abusive this life on earth setup was and still is, and is increasingly so since 2020. 2, no one has ever asked for our individual and separate permissions to agree to live like this, whereupon childhood, we are trained, conditioned, and forced to obey harmful rules, harmful regulations, harmful protocols and procedures, and more that we did not create for ourselves. In 2020, March of 2020, I honestly and sincerely felt that we of humanity who are not responsible for having built or maintained the harmful power hierarchies of so-called society, nor manufactured inhumane and dehumanizing actions and behaviors upon others, would and will continue to cease participating in anything and everything that offends and abuses human nature. 4, I have taken a great many actions alone since 2020, and I sincerely hope that we will intensify our individual and separate sovereign actions to ensure our children's generation are not left to live out a reality where they are considered and treated in actuality to be lower than any other life form on Earth, building human ghettos that require a QR code to even look at a tree from a designated nature area in their local smart park in order to prove they are worshipping Mama Gaia, Pachamama, and a new world before returning to their hashtag tiny home in the city to continue their online life via the machine, doing God knows what for God knows whom. This is already happening, well underway, and was long planned, and it is not acceptable.
It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable even to somebody who doesn't have children. I don't have children. It's so monstrous to be told you're the guardian of this earth, and you have a responsibility to the future, and to know that those words are false, that they are lies, and that the actual design is to dismantle not just society, not just people, but even Gaia itself.
Yeah.
To know it takes away your humanity, not just to go along with it, but even just to know it and to observe it. I feel, I don't want to use such a term as rape, because it's undermining rape. I feel like my mind has been raped, my heart has been raped.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching my people, my earth, and I'm referring to Greece, being scorched, people being burnt, and now they're being drowned and flooded. So that's both my earth, where my DNA resonates, and my people, after watching the demolition of the global financial crisis destroy the fabric of society in Greece. And I'm watching that, and it is like observing something. It's like the first time you find out about pedophilia, like that thought never ever crossed your mind. And then because it was served up to you and you had to acknowledge it, you became soiled inside.
Yeah.
Well, this is how I feel, that I have to, somebody's holding my eyes open and I have to watch. Crimes isn't the right word. Wicked evilness. No, I can't actually find a word for it. That I have to watch this and remain sane.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to go on and smile for people and, like participate in my family life, which, entails talking about the chickens and talking about the weather and what we're going to eat today.
Yeah.
And all I want to do is holler and scream and cry and be present and a part of what's really happening, and not pretend it's not happening, so that I can be all right and so that we can all be all right. Like, I don't understand when I see people watching television and they're watching some, banal bullshit. I know that we live in a version of the Truman Show, but everybody knows that TV is fake. Everybody knows that, that show about fashion, that show about cooking, that reality TV, whatever it is, that it's all false. It's all lies. It's all set up. It's all contrived. I don't know how to deal with this. So I withdraw.
Yeah.
I withdraw from my family. I spend most of my time in my tiny bedroom now, because my conversation, my thoughts are not welcome.
Yeah.
Because they bring people down.
Yeah.
So I can't cope with it. I can't cope with ignoring it more though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that feels a major thing, Cindy, that I feel too, which is we didn't ask for this, but we have to face it. And as you said, the not speaking upon it is a worse option of all the horrendous options that we have ahead. I'm very disturbed that I feel that, as you've said, like, okay, there's the obvious things like the TV and the cooking programs. I'm very disturbed by what we might call, like, we've now been given a new title, the truther community. There's now a new category in town, the truther community. I don't want to be recategorized and relabeled by people that wish us ill. So I'm not part of the truther community. I am a human being with a voice, attempting to express how fucking agonizing this is and how it is to me genocide. And I don't get how, I can only feel like people have been so harmed by the mind control programming that we receive from birth that they simply cannot speak out, because in some ways for a long time these, I don't know what you'd call them, social engineers masquerading as something else, have been saying, you know, life is an illusion, life is a movie, life is a dream, life is a blah blah. So you end up feeling, well, if it is, if everyone's saying it's a dream and an illusion, then you know, well, there's no point in saying anything and no point in acknowledging that we are material and physical beings living in a material and physical world. But even if that is the fucking excuse being used, if this is your movie and this is your dream, why are you doing nothing as the character in your so-called fucking dream and movie? I want to know. I want the people, I want the people who are doing this to answer us and stop it. And I don't have any hope either. But I will speak my heart's desires because they've taken everything already.
I was prompted to read about a little bit, just the blurb basically of about solipsism and moral relativity or subjective relativity, because a friend of mine went and got a tattoo and sent me the picture of the drawing of the tattoo, not which had been made by the time we spoke, and he asked my thoughts on the tattoo. So I opened up the graphic, and I can't say what exactly I found, but I said, "Oh, are you in line with this symbol, and do you know what it means, or do you know what it means to like the rest of the world?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, like, oh, oops," is what he said. It's like, "Oops, I had amended it, but I had given the graphic to the tattoo artist prior to the amendment and hadn't swapped it over. And shit, thanks for picking up on that. I'll go fix it."
Yeah.
And then followed up after about an hour of, "Oh, you know what? This is how I interpret this symbol. And therefore, that's all that matters, that I see it in this way." I really wish I could tell you what the symbol was, but anyway.
Yeah, we can
it's
probably guess.
So and this is a recurring theme that I keep seeing from people who for some reason gravitate to me. And this is the part I don't understand, Morven. I mean, I make it very clear that you are in the wrong territory. And I have advice from people that say, don't push people away because they might learn something from you. But I'm kind of like past that, because it enrages me more to have people come and say to me, "Oh, you know, you can manifest a different reality, or in your heart it can be different." And in our, I was saying something with another woman the other day, and she said, "Oh, but in my world, this is how I see it, and I'm raising my frequency, and so I'm going to be okay." And what I don't understand is, why are you having this conversation with me.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know how even like this. Yeah, my train of thought is not
No,
good.
I get it, Cindy. I want to comment on that before you go on, because
Yeah,
it's like, this is what we mean, isn't it, by the socially engineered new narrative. So we've got our kids being told they're LB, whatever it is, or he, she, they, it. And now the adults are expected to go, I'm raising my frequency. I'm a higher vibration. Da, da, da. I mean, I've heard this for decades. I kind of wasn't listening because I thought, oh, that's for those people that do that. I'm a musician. So I
yeah,
wasn't at war with it. But as the last 3 years have gone on, and my disgust at the towers that were put up during lockdown when the killer plague was supposedly dancing around the planet, I went out, to forage around the place, as in look around, when I wasn't supposed to because I wasn't a key worker. And by God, was I horrified by these enormous towers. It's not funny. So let's just get straight with what is causing this fucking higher frequency vibration. It's that. And under our roads, we've got these fiber broadband things. We are like literally in a sandwich of electrical vibrations going like that on our human bodies. So if anyone's talking about higher frequencies, that is what you're feeling. But that as a fake narrative has got to stop, because it did not birth from within. It did not. It was a story put out, wasn't it, Cindy? I mean, this is surely what we have to come to terms with, which is from the moment you are born, you are given the stories by which to act out the story for your overlords. I can't even
and
believe having to say this out loud.
yeah, and I also think these the terminology of higher vibrations and
Yeah,
frequencies. I think that is directly implanted into what I call controlled opposition
yeah,
and psychological operations,
yes,
because it blurs the lines between the people who are talking about frequencies, of electromagnetic frequencies coming from these towers that
yeah,
are affecting us, our biology, our DNA. And you've got another group of truthers, because we've all been lumped into the same, like we've got the same label, right? This label pushes
yeah,
us all together. So I've got nothing in common with these people,
yeah,
right? And so let's, and I hate to do this because now I'm just, being a hypocrite, because I'm going to label now the normie a normie. I just don't know
what
what
else to
terminology
say?
to use. Somebody who's not involved in the stuff we're talking about, or who doesn't want to see what the world is about, has, I say something like electromagnetic frequencies, and in their minds they turn around and think, oh, she's one of those, people that vibrates on a higher frequency, and she's 5D, right? Which is
Yeah,
right next to
by
5G. And I've found lots of this stuff, like the woke movement. The wake up thing
mm,
started, I think, from people who were trying to share what the truth was, because like we're sharing the same word now. Like
yeah,
I've been telling people, hey, wake up. And we've got the woke movement. And so there was actually a time, Morven, where I thought I was a social justice warrior, because that term, in,
yeah,
like semantically, was actually what I was doing. Like that there wasn't any justice in this
yeah,
world, and I was seeking it. But hang on a second, no, social justice actually means these very, very specific ideas,
mm,
these inversions
yeah,
that,
yes,
so I
as dictated by.
blurring.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Cindy. Just want to make sure I'm clear. You mean like these social justice or social issues are dictated by the others, the overlords, the system,
Yeah,
not what we are feeling is the lack of justice for anyone and the lack of anything of any no harm going on. That's what we're talking about. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, I didn't know that term covered a very specific agenda. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And so
It
if
wasn't
if
yours.
I could have been confused and thought myself one of those people, or that label could be applied to me.
Yeah.
It's like, so most people out there actually have no idea. If you do encounter one of those people that's kind of like rather like untainted by social media, somebody who doesn't participate at all and perhaps doesn't even have a television, um, and they do know that that there are agendas at play.
Mm-hmm.
We all sound the same, and
Yeah.
that's how we end up all lumped into the, well, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're a social justice warrior,
Mm-hmm.
you're a flat earther, you're
Yeah.
so you're whatever you are. It's all you vibrate on another frequency. You live in your own head. You're a soul obsessed. Well, it's all the same thing, and nothing could be further from the truth.
Yeah.
Um, I'm exhausted.
Ditto. Ditto. Shall we go out and come back in?
Yeah,
Because there's 5 minutes left of my
sure.
freebie thing. So I'm
Yep,
gonna
I'm
say,
right here.
yeah, see you in a minute, Cindy. I'm gonna stop the recording and then we'll do part 2 in a minute.